Happy Tuesday, everybody. I know I'm on here a little bit early, but last time I did it early, I had like double the amount of viewers. So I'm kind of just playing around with the times, seeing which one works best. For those that don't know, my name is Dustin Ward, aka D-Truth, coming to you live and direct on Facebook Live from my basement. What's up, Kelly? Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Good job with your live last night. Alright, so what am I talking about today? It's going to be humiliation, alright? And I did a talk about humiliation a couple weeks ago. It wasn't an actual official Cup of Truth video, though. And with that being said, a lot of these topics I'm going to keep hitting again and again as I learn more, as I develop more of a thought process on how to communicate these ideas with you. This is all learning experience, guys, so we're just starting at the ground level and working our way up, all right? So yeah, humiliation, what is it? It's basically just when you're embarrassed as shit about something. What's up? Oh, hey, baby girl. Piper just woke up, so she's coming down here now. You want to come down and hang out? Daddy's going to talk about being embarrassed. Alright, so let's just start from the beginning. I wrote down a few things on... the reason I wanted to do this is just kind of get it all out there and show you guys how I've overcome some of these obstacles. Some of the stuff is definitely worse than others. And the worst stuff I didn't necessarily put on here because, not everything needs to be shared through Facebook. But, alright, so the first experience that I could really think of when it came to humiliation was when I was in the 4th grade.
Can I go get my coloring book and color?
Yes, you can go get your coloring book. When I was in 4th grade, I got kicked out of the choir. I had just joined choir, actually, with a few of my close friends. And the reason I was kicked out was because of academic reasons. I really wasn't very good at reading whatsoever, so I got pulled out of choir and placed in remedial reading classes. And as you can imagine, being in 4th grade, that happening to you, I just felt like my whole world was shattered. I felt inferior to all my peers. It was super embarrassing. I hated the remedial reading classes too, but in reality, they were probably the best thing for me. I ended up learning quite a bit from it. So yeah, that was probably when I'm sitting here thinking about all right, what's the most embarrassing shit I've ever been through. That was the very first thing that popped into my head. I don't really have anything before that, and I think maybe the reason why is when we're so young that getting embarrassed easily is pretty hard. We see the way kids act, they don't hold it back whatsoever. So yeah, in 4th grade I think is when I felt the first real emotions of getting humiliated. Another humiliating thing, and this I got a lot that tie into this. I used to be a huge juggalo, full blown, loved ICP from the time I was in 4th grade to probably when I went to college. And I got quite a few good stories about that too. So when I was probably in 6th grade, I had got a Walkman, and my friend Tom had given me a burnt copy of this ICP CD. Super inappropriate. And my dad wouldn't let me have any music like that whatsoever. My mom bought me my first cassettes, which were Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit, and I think Stained or something like that. He made me give them all back to her. So yeah, my dad just really wasn't into the whole vulgar music thing whatsoever. But I did have a Walkman, and I figured out with the Walkman that I had, you could double layer the CD, so you could have a CD on top of the CD when you put it in there. And then that way I could hide what I'm listening to if he was to ever open it. So I thought I was super slick doing this shit, and we were in the car. We were heading to the town next to ours, and he asked me if he can have the headphones, and I'm listening to this CD, and the song that he grabs it from is it's all about getting out of prison and finding a girl your first day out and all this stuff. And it's not really one that I wanted my dad to hear. I thought you were grabbing a coloring book.
I tricked you.
Yeah. Anyways, he grabbed him, listened to it, and I just remember my face getting beet red because I knew all the lyrics that he was hearing and what he was thinking about his son at that moment. Another really embarrassing moment was that ties along with like being a juggalo or whatnot was my grandparents going to insaneclownposse.com when I was younger. This was during, for those that don't know, like ICP has like Joker card series. There's 6 of them, and they were at the very tail end of this series when my grandparents found out about them, and they found out about them during like the Hell's Pit era. So they go to the insaneclownposse.com and they see a website full of flames, like these crazy like clown faces on the screens popping out at them and shit. And like my grandparents are convinced that I joined like some kind of satanic cult. And I had to explain to them like, no. This is all just kind of like a story that's been building up. Like if you guys would have went to the website 6 months ago, it would have looked all angelic and everything. Because it was called Shangri-La before Hell's Pit. But they didn't really understand it whatsoever, and then, all of a sudden they're like Goody Two-Shoes grandkid who like they looked I mean, like me and my grandparents have always gotten along. We still get along great, but I could just tell that they like looked at me in a different light at that moment in my life because of like what I was listening to, and then also another good story with my grandparents is when they came and saw me at the Battle of the Bands down in, where was that? Martinsville? It was at like a state fairground. And, my grandparents came down there to see me. I used to play in this punk rock band called the Black Republicans. And our whole thing was to like go to a show and try to piss off as many people as possible. So we get to this state fair and like, it's like one of those things where we're like set out in like this dirt track, like where they used to do like racing and shit, and like the audience is in the bleachers, and they have like a judge's table in front of the audience, and the judge's table is comprised of like the high school prom queen and like maybe the fucking manager of the bank or like local bank or something like that. It's just like, I mean, it wasn't our crowd. Let's just say that. So, anyways, the show starts and. We thought it'd be like a really good idea to take this condom and fill it up with fake blood. So during the first song, at the very tail end of it, and like I'm the front man, I go like right in front of the judge's table and take this condom full of fake blood and just like pop it over my forehead and like start rolling around in the dirt right in front of them. My dad said like he said the audience was split. Half the people were just like, what the hell is going on? And then the other half were just like, couldn't wait. They were like waiting in anticipation to see what was going to happen. That like it blows my mind that me and my homies made so many like stupid like short like jackass skit videos and stuff growing up, but like none of us ever yeah, dude, it was pretty fucking funny. Thank you, Katie. It blows my mind that none of us ever like took a video camera to any of our concerts that we put on growing up, because like we would have some amazing footage if we would have done that. That's one thing I definitely regret. What else was there? Oh, another crazy like performance one. So this is kind of like cool and embarrassing at the same time. Back my last year of high school, we had a buddy called Damon Jones, and we thought it'd be a good idea to throw like a festival in the backyard of his dad's house called Jonestown. So we made this flyer with Reverend Jim Jones on it, put all the bands that were going to be in there. At the very bottom it said like bring your own Kool-Aid. It was like a pretty badass flyer. I still have it. It's actually framed up by my desk in my bedroom. But we where was I going? Jonestown, yeah. So we threw this festival called Jonestown in the back of my buddy's in the back of my buddy's backyard. What? That's a keyboard. Hey, don't play with it, babe. Just keep playing with your toys. And during this concert, we were on the bill with like a couple Christian acts. They brought all their family out. None of our family came whatsoever. But during this during this show, we had like a TV up on stage, and we broke the TV, and then I started like rolling around in the glass, like in my buddy's backyard. And I was like all cut up. And the next day I had a dermatology appointment with my dad, because at the time I was having like really bad skin problems. I was breaking out in a rash. They still couldn't figure out why. They basically said there's something in my body that's allergic to itself. It hasn't happened in a long time though, but it does pop up every now and then. But anyways, I had this dermatology appointment the very next day. So I go to this dermatology appointment. I'm like 17 at the time. And the guy tells me to go ahead and take off my shirt. And the night before, I had just been like rolling around in a shit ton of glass. So I take off my shirt, and I could just see the doctor's face. Like, he thought my dad was like crazy abusive or something like that. And he was just like, what happened? You know, just making eye contact with me, like not looking at my dad whatsoever. He's like, what happened? And I just told him, I was just like, well, I had a concert last night at my friend's house, and I was rolling around and running around, and I ran through hey Sarah, I told him I ran through a thorn bush. So the guy I don't think bought it, but you know, that was my story, and my dad didn't know what the hell to think. I think maybe he got on board with that story too. But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. What else? Okay, yeah, we can talk about the first show. A lot of these like embarrassing stories have to do with music, which is funny because I keep saying like I want to make music my life. So I think that just goes to show that like this shit is not holding me back whatsoever. All right, so the first show I organized to Be Here Now. I had played Be Here Now before in the past, and the shows went great, but this was the first show that I actually ever like fully organized. I got other bands on the bill. These are my headphones, baby. Hey, shh, let me talk. This was the first show that I ever actually like organized. I got all the bands on board and everything. So I go to Be Here Now, and I'm like super pumped. I have no clue what I'm doing whatsoever. And Whitney takes me in the back, and he says that the sound guy for the night cut out, so I'm going to have to run sound. I know literally nothing about running sound whatsoever. So I'm like put in front of this fucking mixing board with all these cords and this mic, and like the shit's hooked up and it's hip hop. So there's like 2 mics and like a fucking like aux cord that's like plugged into like a fucking computer. You know what I mean? Like the setup is super simple. But I hadn't had any experience at the time with like mixing vocals yet or any of that. So the show went on. It sounded like complete dog shit, like the entire show did. But, you know, we persevered. We ended up like organizing a lot of shows after that. I started getting into recording music and mixing and everything. And, you know, I feel like if I was put in front of a soundboard now, like I'd be able to like figure out my way around it a lot better than what I did back then. Another good embarrassing show. I got 2 embarrassing ones actually, and they both happened at Pruis Hall. For those that don't know, Pruis Hall is a hall at Ball State. It's where they host like the talent shows and like open mic nights and stuff on campus. It's right next to the Bracken Library. So the first embarrassing show that I had was when Tom was still living with me. We signed up for this open mic. And at the time, like Tom and I had like just started like really getting into the hip hop community at Ball State. So we got all these I think we got like 5 other hip hop acts to come to this open mic with us, and we thought it'd be like a cool idea to like just turn it into a hip hop night or whatever. So like 4 other hip hop artists signed up before us, and then we took the last spot. We were going based off of like our experience at shows, like typically like headlining or playing like, you know, after the other hip-hop acts, like, worked out well for us. It did not work out well for us this time at all. The crowd was, like, so over hip-hop by the time that we came on. They wanted to hear something else. And mind you got 2 white kids coming up there doing hip-hop, and, like, we thought, like, our shit was, like, awesome back in the day. And it kind of, like, I don't know, I still think it's, like, all right. But we definitely weren't as good as, like, what we thought we were. So yeah, by the time we got up on stage, the crowd was just over hip hop completely, and I don't think that we necessarily like gave them our best show. We went on like just assuming that everyone was gonna love us, and like this experience definitely taught us that not everybody's gonna love you just because you're there doing something. The crowd became highly annoyed with us. There was like another act that came out and interrupted our set. I threw some kind of insult at him. And then the crowd completely turned on us. They just started booing us off stage. And that's the only time that that's ever happened to me. But it was definitely very humbling getting booed off stage. That shit gets to you. I don't know how many artists have actually like been full on booed off stage by like hundreds of people. Or at least a couple hundred people. It was pretty embarrassing. Another Pruis Hall, and see, even after that, I still went back and did other shows at Pruis Hall. So another show at Pruis Hall, it was like a talent show, and then by this point, Tom had already dipped out of Muncie. He was back down. I keep like talking about my life like everybody knows what happened in my life. It doesn't. Tom, he was like the person that was rapping with me. He moved down to back down to the hometown. So when I was back up at Ball State by myself, I started doing like solo music. Holy shit, we got like 4 or 5 people watching now. What up, guys? Hey, Cameron. Tell Josh I said hey if you're next to him. So yeah, Pruis Hall. I go to this talent show. I'm doing a solo set. This is like probably like a year after we get booed off stage. I'm doing a solo set, doing hip hop again, but I didn't invite like 5, 6 other hip-hop artists, so I figured, I might be all right. I was super confident in, like, my music at the time. I went there. I felt like I did an awesome job performing, and then I came in very last place during that talent show. And mind you, like, I'm sitting there at this talent show, and, like, I don't recognize like any of these people from the music scene that are there at this talent show. Like, I'm deep in the music scene at this point in Muncie. Like, I'm at Be Here Now every weekend, like either going to shows, putting on shows, working shows. Like, I'm deep in it, and I don't recognize any of these motherfuckers. So like, that didn't really bother me so much, because I knew that like, even though I came in last, like I still was probably one of the most active musicians on campus at that time. And like, you just couldn't deny the hustle that I had going on. Taking a year off college, that was like pretty embarrassing, especially when you're trying to explain to your like dad and grandparents, like, no. I know like the statistics say that if you take a year off, you're not going to go back, but I promise I'm going to go back. See, like my whole thing with college is I was on 21st Century Scholars, so I got it paid for because my dad was poor. It's like a pretty backwards fucking system, honestly. But yeah, I was on 21st Century Scholars. I went down to PCB one spring break with one of my homies, and during that time I should have been filling out my FAFSA and turning it in, but I did not do that. So I lost all my funding for the next year, and I decided, like, even though it was my senior year, I was going to wait because I was not coming out of pocket for any of this college shit. I'd already been in it long enough to know that, like, I'm not fucking paying for it. And that's not, like, throwing offense to anybody that has paid for it. I just, I knew that if I just had to wait a year and go back, then, and get it paid for, then that's what was going to happen. And I ended up doing that. It was very hard to explain to the family, though, like, look, like, this is the best thing for me, I promise you. Because they didn't buy it. They didn't think I was going to go back. What's another embarrassing thing? Oh, yeah, and that kind of brings me to the last on this list. Doing these fucking lives has been super embarrassing lately.
For the ability to climb a tree. You can't judge a fish by the ability to climb a tree.
That's too fucking true. That is so true. But yeah, doing these lives has been super embarrassing. I mean, I got a degree in public speaking, and I don't feel like that shows when I'm doing these. I know that they're getting better, and I know that I will keep getting better and keep progressing. I've only been doing it for like 2 weeks now. And it's been a little fucking nerve-wracking at times, you know? After I end an episode, I'm like, man, I really rushed that one. Or, like, I didn't talk about things that I wanted to say. And it's probably going to happen at the end of this episode, too. But the point is, we're not letting any of that hold us back, are we? No, we can't let any of it hold us back, because the only thing to do is keep fucking moving forward. I want to make music my life. We're figuring out how to make money online. We've already figured it out, honestly. It's just like we're figuring out how to make more money online. And when I say we, I'm talking about Paige and I.
Yeah, lies feel weird for me too, but you're such a natural, honestly.
Thank you. Hey, I really appreciate that. Like, hearing that type of shit, like, gives me the confidence to do these. I've had like multiple people hit me up and be like, yo, you're like the, like, you've inspired me and all this shit, and like that humbles me so much. It's just, I can't let you guys know how much I love hearing it. Like, if I make you feel that way, please let me know, because like it's only gonna encourage me to keep doing these, and I'm gonna keep doing them regardless. I got like I got a pretty good vision of where I want this to go. I want to start like working a lot with like small like local business, doing like interviews and promotional videos for them. I really need to get into vlogging more, and just editing video in general. That's something that I've always told myself I was going to do, and I've never done. Another cool thing too is I've been talking to this personal trainer. Actually, I'm trying to get my first personal training session set up tomorrow. It's kind of funny the way life works. We talk about manifesting all the time, and a couple days ago I was watching this Gary Vee video, and he talks about when he turned 37, he finally took his health into his hands. But to do that, he had to hire a couple personal trainers, because he needed to be held accountable to somebody else, not just himself, because he's always hated working out. And guys, like, I don't mind being active and stuff, but I hate working out so much. And I just saw this guy, my buddy Joey Hardwick. I don't even know if I could call him my buddy. Like, we're acquaintances, and he's always just struck me as like a super cool, chill fucking dude. But he's in like probably the best shape of his life, and he made this post about how he was offering personal training sessions for $75 a month. You get three hour-long sessions each week with that. And I figured, like, I could invest $75 a month into my health. So I hit him up, and we're trying to figure out a time right now. I'm not like worried about getting big and bulky or anything. I just want to stay healthy, because I want to be around as long as I can for her. I quit smoking cigarettes. I don't even know how long ago now. I stopped keeping track, because if you keep track, that means you don't really want to quit. My uncle said, like, the people that keep track of how long they've not smoked a cigarette are just like bitter and pissed off that they've been not smoking cigarettes for that long. Which I mean, I've been there too. I've counted the fucking days and minutes and seconds down to a T of how long I hadn't had a cigarette. But this past time, I just said, it's like, it's something that's not even important in my life. I don't need it. It makes me a bad person. It makes me not as attentive with her.
Can I play games?
What kind of? You can go do a puzzle.
Can I play games?
No, you can't get it. No, you're not. You don't play games or watch TV in the morning. You know that. But yeah, guys, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, thank you for working with me here, all right? Like, I feel so much more comfortable with this new setup that I got. I'm really happy with the background. I kind of wish this outlet wasn't here, but who knows? That might come in handy at one time or another. Yeah, I think I got a really comfortable space for people to come over, though, and us have some conversations. Still figuring out what kind of microphone I need to use for this. I'm just using these AirPods right now. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is, like, fucking don't be scared of fucking up, guys. Like, we're all gonna fuck up. People are gonna judge us. Like, what really matters is what you think of yourself. And every time that I end one of these live videos, I feel so fucking proud of myself. That's why I like doing them in the mornings too. It's just, you get this live high, I swear. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, just take everything that I say with a grain of salt, though, because remember, I'm learning just like y'all are. So my words aren't like, I should have spelled a cup of truth with a lowercase t for the truth, because it's just my truth, guys. Like, it's not a universal truth whatsoever. But a lot of things that I'm saying, I think could help people out, and I know that they have already helped people out. Yeah, no screens in the morning. I think that shit's important. I mean, my dad was he didn't really regulate the TV with me growing up, and I watched a fuck ton of TV growing up, and I kind of, I want her to be more creative than what I am. So, And I'm trying to keep up with her because she is very creative.
You wake up this way. Washboard.
Going in the morning too, catch the live high. I'd swear, like, if I don't do my live in the morning, and that's why I did it at 8:30 instead of 9 today too. It's just because, I mean, I wake up at like 7 o'clock and I'm just like sitting there for 2 hours, like building up so much anticipation about this. Like doing it in the morning, I love it. And I think I'm gonna start going live like more just when I'm like working on mixing music and stuff like that. I don't really want to go live when I'm mixing other people's music, and that's what I've been working on this song for my buddy Matt Foy recently. And I just, I don't want to let everybody hear his music before he decides to release it. But when it comes to my music that I'm working on, I think I'm going to start like doing like live mixing sessions. And a big thing that I'd like to do is teach like the local like hip hop community how to mix and master their own vocals, how to record themselves. Because I see so much potential out there with people, and they're wasting money on getting somebody else to like engineer them. Like they could easily fucking do it themselves. And then, and I think it just like would allow them to put out that much more content. So yeah, guys, like that's what I got about humiliation. Just don't be fucking scared. And if you are scared, just say fuck it and work past it. I promise saying fuck it works. And I know I need to watch my mouth in front of my daughter, but fuck it, she's my daughter. So yeah, baby.
You said, if I'd be nice, like watching movies or play games.
You're not watching a movie or playing a game in the morning. You know that. We had a little bit of a meltdown last night at dinner time. So last night was the first night in the history of Piper's life that I did not read a book or sing her a song before she went to bed. She got in that much trouble. It was really sad. I missed doing that with you. Did you miss it too?
What?
Not singing or reading last night? Yeah. Look, she's embarrassed right now. Well, hey guys, I'm happy with how this turned out. I had a guy comment, my buddy Justin, he commented on this. He's like, it seems like these lives would be great therapy. Straight up, man, that's kind of what I'm using it as now. It's just, I'm just talking about my life, about things and topics that like come into my mind on what I could progress at and do better. And yeah, I'm going to share them with you. All right, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to share. Oh, and shout out my red beanie. I found it last night while I was cleaning Piper's room while she was having the meltdown. I didn't really have to deal with the meltdown. That was all Paige. And damn, like, it's weird how sexy Paige is being, like, a fierce mom. Like, is it weird that it's just, like, I love, like, when she kind of gets pissed off? Like, it just, I don't know. She's a feisty woman. I love it. I love it. But, yeah, guys, remember, you're the only thing holding you back, and we're all we got, so let's build each other up. I'm totally down to support the projects you guys got going on. Hit me up if you guys want, like, an interview done or anything. Right now, I'm kind of just talking to... And I was thinking, too, like, when I said about, like, how these can be used as therapy sessions, I was thinking about, like, just having people on, like, talking about them. I'm not a therapist by any means, but like I'm pretty sure the biggest key to therapy is just to listen. So I was thinking about maybe having some people on and we can just like kind of talk through their problems together. I can help them work through their excuses, and maybe we can like make some fucking change happen for real in somebody's life. That would be like another cool segment of things I could do with this. So, I don't know. The ideas and the possibilities are endless, guys. They keep coming, and I'm going to keep rolling with them, all right? So, yeah, much love. Stay up.